There's a famous story in the world of guitar. It's about a young, aspiring player and his demanding teacher. The student was a teenage Steve Vai. The teacher was the one and only Joe Satriani. Vai, brimming with raw talent and enthusiasm, went to Satriani for a lesson. He was ready to learn the secrets of shred, the magic behind the music, but the lesson didn't go as planned. Satriani asked Vai a simple question, to name all the notes on the sixth string. Vai couldn't do it, so Satriani sent him home. He told him not to come back until he had learned every single note on the entire fretboard. This might sound harsh. Why would a teacher turn away such a promising student? But Satriani wasn't just being difficult. He was giving Vai the most important lesson he would ever learn. He knew that without this fundamental knowledge, all the fancy techniques in the world are just empty gestures. You can play fast, you can learn licks, but you can't truly speak the language of music. You're just mimicking sounds without understanding what they mean. This single moment set Steve Vai on the path to becoming one of the most musically articulate and knowledgeable guitarists of all time. It was the foundation upon which his entire incredible career was built. Think about it like learning to read and write. You can't write a great novel if you don't know the alphabet. You can't have a deep conversation if you don't know the words. For a guitarist, the notes on the neck are the alphabet. They are the words. Knowing them is the difference between simply playing the guitar and actually making music with it. Satriani's lesson wasn't about gatekeeping, it was about unlocking Vai's true potential. He was teaching him that true freedom on the instrument comes not from technical tricks, but from deep, unshakable knowledge of the fundamentals. This story is a powerful reminder for every guitarist, from the bedroom player to the aspiring professional. We often get distracted by the flashy stuff. We want to learn the fastest solos and the most complex riffs. We chase after new pedals and expensive gear, thinking they hold the key. But the real key is right there under our fingers. It's in the patient, disciplined work of learning the fretboard inside and out. That's the lesson Satriani gave Vai, and it's a lesson that is just as important today. It's the starting point for everything that comes after. So, why is knowing the notes on the neck so important? It's about connection. When you know the name of every note you play, you start to see the relationships between them. You are no longer just playing memorized shapes or patterns from a tab. You are making conscious musical choices. This knowledge transforms the fretboard from a confusing grid of frets and strings into a clear, logical map of musical possibilities. It's the first step towards true musical literacy on the instrument, allowing you to think and create with purpose and intention. Let's talk about chords. Many players learn chord shapes without ever understanding what makes them a C major or a G minor. When you know your notes, you can see the chord formulas come to life. You see that a C major chord is made of the notes C, E, and G. Suddenly, you can find that chord anywhere on the neck, in any inversion. You're not limited to the first few frets. This understanding allows you to build your own unique chord voicings, adding texture and sophistication to your rhythm playing. It liberates you from the standard cowboy chords and opens up a whole universe of harmony. This knowledge is just as crucial for scales and soloing. Instead of just running up and down a memorized scale pattern, you can start targeting specific chord tones as the harmony changes underneath you. This is what makes a solo sound melodic and meaningful. You can create tension and release by deliberately choosing notes that clash or resolve with the underlying chord. You're not just playing in a key, you are actively navigating the harmonic landscape of the song. This is the secret behind the solos of the greats, from B.B. King to Pat Metheny. They are telling a story with their note choices. Finally, it makes you a better bandmate. Being able to communicate with other musicians is essential. When the bass player asks you to play a D over the G chord, you need to know where to find it instantly. When the keyboard player says the bridge moves to an F-sharp minor, you can't be fumbling around trying to find the right shape. Knowing the notes allows you to speak the universal language of music. It makes you a more reliable, versatile, and professional musician. It builds confidence and allows you to contribute more effectively to the creative process. Alright, so how do you actually go about memorizing the entire fretboard? It seems like a huge task, but you can break it down into simple, manageable steps. The key is consistent, focused practice, not long, painful sessions. Start with one string. The low E string is a good place to begin. Your goal is to be able to name any note on that string instantly. Use the natural notes, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, as your landmarks. Remember, there are no sharps or flats between B and C, or between E and F. Once you've mastered the low E, you'll realize the high E string is exactly the same, just 2 octaves higher. A fantastic exercise is to say the name of every note out loud as you play it. This engages multiple parts of your brain and helps to solidify the connection between the location, the sound, and the name of the note. Another great method is the octave exercise. Find a note on the low E or A string, for example, a C at the 8th fret of the E string. Then find that same C note on every other string. You'll start to recognize the octave shapes across the fretboard, which act as a powerful navigational tool. This exercise alone will rapidly improve your fretboard vision. You can also use a tuner to help you. Pick a random fret on a random string. Before you play the note, try to guess what it is. Then, play the note and let the tuner tell you if you were correct. This turns the learning process into a game and provides instant feedback. Another fun way to practice is by playing along with backing tracks. Instead of just improvising freely, give yourself a specific challenge. For example, try to land on the root note of each chord, right as it changes. This forces you to think about the notes and find them quickly under pressure. Don't try to learn everything at once. Focus on one small area of the neck at a time. Maybe you spend 1 week focusing only on the notes between the 5th and 7th frets. Once you feel confident there, expand to the next section. Over time, these small areas will connect, and you'll have a complete map of the fretboard. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. A little bit of practice every single day is far more effective than one long practice session once a week. Consistency is the most important ingredient for success. Today we are lucky to have so many resources available to help with this process. There are countless apps for your phone or tablet designed specifically for fretboard training. Apps like Fretboard Learn or Guitar Notes, Master use games and quizzes to make the practice more engaging. They can track your progress and highlight areas where you need more work. These are great tools for when you have a spare 5 minutes, whether you're on the bus or waiting in a queue. They allow you to turn downtime into productive practice time, reinforcing what you've learned on the actual instrument. Beyond apps, there are many fantastic websites and YouTube channels dedicated to this topic. A quick search for how to learn the notes on the guitar will give you thousands of free lessons and exercises. Many of these come with printable diagrams and PDFs that you can put up on your wall in your practice space. Having a visual reminder of the fretboard map can be incredibly helpful, especially in the early stages. Look for creators who offer structured programs that guide you step by step, as this can provide a clear path and keep you motivated on your journey. Of course, one of the best tools is still a good old-fashioned metronome. Practicing any of the exercises we've discussed with a metronome will not only help you memorize the notes, but also improve your timing and rhythmic precision. Set the metronome to a slow tempo and try to name and play one note on each beat. This methodical approach builds accuracy and discipline. As you get more comfortable, you can gradually increase the speed. This simple classic tool trains your fingers and your brain to work together seamlessly and efficiently under pressure. Ultimately, the best resource is your own commitment. The story of Satriani and Vai teaches us that the desire to learn is the most powerful tool of all. Carve out a small amount of dedicated time each day to work on this one specific skill. Be patient with yourself and celebrate the small victories along the way. The journey to mastering the fretboard is one of the most rewarding things you can do as a guitarist. It unlocks a new level of creativity and expression. What are your favorite methods for learning the neck? Let me know in the comments below. I read all of them.